Previously on The Devil on G-String. Usami spoke in a low voice.
宇佐美と少し遊びたかっただけだが。
ひどく幼稚なお遊びだったな。
手紙のことか。
Indeed, that was a bit too simple.
あの手紙は簡単だった。私はこのトマン別市に鬼ごっこをしよう。私は今より狩りに行く。
The next line caused Usami's voice to betray her. She could not conceal her anguish as she recited the final words.
お前の母は実に綺麗な女性だった。
私が春よ。
The girl straightened her posture.
私が魔王だ。
She realized her whole body was trembling. Haru clenched her fists to suppress her apprehension. The fear she held slowly drew near. This is no longer a game. The battle has begun. I'm beginning to get a faint picture of what this guy is like. What about his age and stature?
年は若いと推測してみます。
Because his voice sounded young?
それもありますが、行動に子供のような遊び心が伺えるからです。
I guess you could put it that way. If he wasn't a little brat, he wouldn't be playing hide and seek along Central Boulevard.
断定はできませんが。
Of course, many successful businessmen also have a playful mind. Some people don't forget their youthful passions. In fact, many people have found unexpected success when branching out into work that, as an observer would put it, allows them to play around. There's some sort of history between Usami and Maou. She said it was a grudge, but I'm not sure about the details. However, if they have such a history, there's always a chance that Maou will attempt to come into contact with her again in the future. As long as I keep up a good relationship with Usami, I might be able to pick up some important information.
どうします？
何かお困りのようですね。
鋭いな、君は。なに、東区の用地買収がね、思うように進んでないんだ。
土地を手放したくない人間がいるんですね。
相場の2倍の金を出すと言っても聞いてくれない。あまりに困ったんで、プロを雇うことにしたよ。
今日は浅井くんがお家に来ます。驚きの一日になりそうです。
Did you call your parents?
さっき学園の公衆電話で。
Did they say anything?
すごい嬉しそうだった。お父さんがお母さんに赤飯を炊けとか言ってた。
I get the feeling we'll have to compensate them for each individual apple tree when they move out. We might end up having to arrange for them to get substitute farmland. Yet even though all this would certainly raise the compensation costs, I can't imagine it would sum up to match the value they were already offered. Thus, the reason why they won't move is... I see. So this land has been in your family for generations.
お父さんもお母さんも愛着あるみたいなんだ。
There you have it. Let's see here. We got fucking hell, 5 children. Oh my god. How are you not prematurely balding yet, both of you? Her parents, I mean. The second chopstick hit my face.
もう、みんな落ち着いてよ。
Please don't. I like the mental image of this guy getting hit with chopsticks. At this moment, the doorbell rang.
お邪魔します。
It's Eiichi.
いらっしゃい。すごい人数。ちょっとなんすかこれ、大家族スペシャル。
And so it continues. Greetings, my name is Neosekken, and welcome back to my Let's Play of The Devil on G-String. So, Tsubaki's family seems rather nice. It's gonna make me feel like an asshole if we somehow manage to successfully drive them off this land, but as for Azai, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Despite his upbringing, is he going to form enough of an attachment towards Tsubaki to say screw this and try to help her family out any way he can, if he can help out at all? Or is this all just gonna play out as just a tragedy and nothing but? Time will tell, I suppose, but obviously I'm hoping it's not the latter. So, let's get into it. Let's see what crazy hijinks we'll get into here in Tsubaki's home. What a brutal dinner. I wish I could have seen it.
椿ちゃんって5人兄弟なんだね。
And she's the eldest, which makes it even worse. After the kids finished eating, they all quickly went to sleep.
ごめんね。お父さんが変なことばっかり言って。和財さん、完全に椿の彼氏さんってことになってますね。
No, I haven't? Indeed. Quite an overwhelming man, that father of yours. And as I smiled bitterly, a voice came from the changing room.
おい、京介くん、風呂入っていけよ。
That's okay.
背中流してやるぞ。
Kind of you to offer, but I must respectfully decline.
お父さん、もういいってば。
As if forgetting my original purpose here, I leisurely spent the evening in the company of my classmates.
みんな、デザート食べる？
What are you offering? Tsubaki's mother put some pears on the table.
うまそうっすね。がっつりいただきます。
I would have preferred an apple myself, but hey.
あ、フォークあるよ。いらん。
Usami grabbed a pear for her hands and nibbled it like a small animal.
おい、京介。
Yes, Mr. Leprechaun, what do you need? Eiichi whispered to me. Huh?
お前ら本当に付き合ってんだろ。
You wish. Of course not.
隠すなよ。わかるんだよ、俺ちゃんクラスになると。
We're not dating. Right, Tsubaki?
何？
She's not even paying attention. Eiichi's under the impression that we're really dating.
だってここんところ一緒に遊んでるじゃない。
Not intentionally.
そうっすね。CD 一緒に買いに行ったりしてましたね。
Usami joined the conversation. She stuffed her cheeks with pears.
忙しい京介くんにしては珍しいなって。おめえが特定の女に熱を上げるなんて珍しいっつうこと。
Nonsense. You're just overthinking things. It is nonsense, but perhaps it wouldn't be so bad to date her. If I could get her, and by extension her family's trust, then it would be much easier to talk them into moving.
じゃあまあ、二人は交際してるってことで。
Well, if I were in your position, I'd just be thinking of a way to usurp Daddy from his throne, so Tsubaki's family can enjoy their farm, while I could just do whatever with the empire as I please, and so Tsubaki's family doesn't have to move, and well, I'd be in charge, so I'd be a lot nicer, so everybody wins. At that moment, Tsubaki shook her head.
ごめん、本当に違うよ。
She smiled gently, as if to remonstrate to Usami and Eiichi.
変な誤解があると浅井くんに迷惑だから、はっきり違うって言わせて。
Caused me trouble. That one stuck with me for a while.
お姉ちゃん、おしっこ。
Aw, then why don't you use the toilet? The youngest brother came by, rubbing his eyes.
はいはい、ひろあき、こっち。
She took his hand and walked out into the hallway.
椿ちゃんは優しいね。私の仲間その1ですからね。どうしたの、京介くん。はっきり違うって言われてショックだったの？
You know, if I was actually a part of this party, I wonder what role she would assign me. A red mage, perhaps? I'd have magic, and while I may not exactly be a master of black or white magic, I mean, I have the best of both worlds, so I'm pretty versatile. That'd be pretty neat. Eiichi's still making fun of me. A little. So I also joked around. I'm sure any man would love to have a wife so devoted to family. Of course, a family is not the type of satisfaction I want in life.
そういえば、宇佐美さんは？
You just want to live like Scrooge McDuck, we know.
はい。好きな人とかいないの？自分っすか？いますよ、はい。
Oh? Well, assuming you're being honest here. Oh? She said nonchalantly.
って、はぁ？
She suddenly got aggravated.
いないっすよ、んなもん。
You just blurted that out without thinking, didn't you?
どっちなの？浅井さんでないことだけは確実です。
Are you trying? Is this code for I'm definitely in love with Azai-san? Me?
じゃあ僕やだな。僕年上の人が好きなんだよ。ごめんね。でも考えておくね。
Assuming I'm not misreading that little statement of hers. I mean, why him? He's kind of an unlikable dick.
何ごちゃごちゃ抜かしてんすか。
She continued chowing down on her peer. Tsubaki came back with her brother.
お姉ちゃん、一緒に寝て。今はお友達来てるからダメだよ。一緒寝て。ひろあき。困った子だな。
Usami wiped her hands and stood up.
そろそろ帰りますかね。そうだね。
I looked at the clock. I'm ready to head out too. But they should be here soon.
お母さん、誰か来たよ。
If it's who I think it is, then, well, this is not gonna end well.
はいはい。お父さん、出てくださいな。
誰だ、こんな時間に。
Tsubaki's father walked out of the bath and went for the door.
姉ちゃん、眠いよ。
Shouldn't you at least... I hope you put on a towel at least. Tsubaki's little brother is still clinging to her.
もう、しょうがないな。
Nevertheless, she showed no sign of disgust at her brother's nagging. Do you always sleep together?
だいたいね。特にひろあきは一番寝つきが悪いの。
Afraid of the dark? So, her brother's name is Hiroaki? Hiroaki? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right either way.
お姉ちゃん。
Going by that sound, it looks like my fears has just been given a definite yes. Oh dear. Noises came from the front of the house. People are shouting something.
何かな。お父さん、どうかしたの？
帰れ、バカモンが。
His conspicuously loud voice reached the living room. Ooh. Tsubaki looked unsettled. A short while later, her father came back to the living room.
まったく、あいつらは。
あなた、またですか？
今度はもっとタチの悪そうなのが来たよ。
Men from the Azai Corporation. Gangsters sent to negotiate with him.
どうしたの、椿ちゃん。なんでもないよ。ごめんね。
Tsubaki held her brother's hands tightly. Since I need to hear their report, I should be leaving now. Sorry, I'm just messing with my mic gain here because it just seems like I'm about. Well, I'm not sneezing, so it's just whatever. Well, we should all be going now. I tipped my head.
帰るんすか?
Huh? Usami stood in front of me, as if trying to block my way.
気にならないんすか?
Usami shot a glance at Tsubaki's parents, who were talking in the kitchen. I lowered my voice. This is their family business. Should we really get ourselves involved?
そうっすか。今日のところは帰りますか。
Usami looked at Tsubaki once more.
おい、椿。何か困ったことがあったら、ちゃんと私に言うんだぞ。ありがとう。私を頼れ。いいな。
She spoke with conviction.
じゃあ、僕も帰る。
We all stepped out after saying our goodbyes.
今日はありがとう。楽しかったよ。
Tsubaki came out to send us off.
バイバイ。
Goodbye. Her brother Hiroki waved goodbye, looking half asleep already.
美味しいご飯にありつけて、私はとても気分が良かったのでした。
Good for you. After that decidedly Tsubaki-esque comment, Usami turned and left. Tsubaki, can I call you later?
え? 何時くらい?
I don't know, but you go to bed late, right?
うん。でも、どうして?
She probably means, why use the telephone? It's nothing important. I'm just a little worried about you. I scratched my hair as if embarrassed by my corny display of compassion.
ありがとう。待ってるね。
Even though Tsubaki always has a smile on her face, I could tell that this smile was somehow different.
優しいな、浅井くんは。
This should do.
じゃあね。うん、気をつけて帰ってね。
I immediately took out my phone when I got back home. I heard the report from the people who went to Tsubaki's house. I thought I told you not to get too rough. I was quite agitated. They had kicked Amiwa's residence door. What would you do if they decided to call the police? Come on, you guys aren't just some random hooligans. You can't go pulling this crap. Private matter? That's just the kind of stuff people from a normal company can say. We're a front for the freaking mafia. This isn't the old days when you guys could do anything you want. It's my fault for using the wrong people. I need to be more prudent next time. If the police interfere, then we have to stop. Damn. I hung up the phone. I gathered my thoughts as I typed on the computer. Sitting alone at my desk has always made me feel more at ease. Miwa household. Family of 7. Maou. Usami. I pulled my email and began to type in fragmented information. Relocate. Tsubaki's feelings. Kindness. Used to my advantage. Maou. Lovely child. Child. Relocate. Private settlement. Money. Maou. Come, lovely child. Oh, come down with me. For many a game I will play with thee. Incoherent words glowed from the screen. Words I don't even know came up from the depths of my mind. I typed and thought at the same time. After I had brainstormed a few ideas, I sent this email to my own address. I opened my inbox and tried once more to organize the words. I learned this brainstorming method from a businessman I had met once before. It works quite well. It's not about money. I came to a conclusion. A conclusion regarding the reason the Miwa family will not sell their land. The appraised value of the land itself, combined with the costs associated with purchasing suitable substitute property, moving, and other assorted fees, is a surprisingly huge sum of money. If they would just move, even a family that huge would be very well to do. Thus, if they won't move despite this, it's obviously not a financial issue. I don't like it. Every problem in this world can be solved with money. If that's true, then why are you having so much trouble with this one? There's no way you could convince me otherwise. Well, then you're doomed to fail. In the meantime, I'll call Tsubaki. I called her home. Someone picked up immediately.
Asai-kun?
Oh, that was fast.
電話の前で待ってたから。
Wow. Sorry to visit you on such short notice. The dinner was delicious.
本当?
Yeah, it felt very... at home. I haven't had a meal like that in a long time.
今日はお母さんが作ったけど、今度は私が作るね。私、こう見えても料理苦手じゃないんだよ。
Wow, it's rare to hear you brag about yourself.
え？生きがる？
Yeah, wasn't that what your way of saying that you're a good cook?
あ、そうだね。生きがったね。これで下手っぴだったらごめんね。
I guess I could take that as a sign that she was starting to open up to me. By the way, is your dad okay?
ごめんね。変なところを見せて。
They were land sharks, weren't they? The joy in her voice dropped out conspicuously.
なんかね、ヤクザさんみたいな人だって。
Really? That's horrible.
私、警察に連絡しようかと思ってるんだ。
Do it. What a brave girl. The police, huh?
どう思う？
Honestly, I don't think that's such a good idea.
どうして？
Because the police are really busy. I mean, they may not take the case. I'll bet the police won't mobilize unless they actually start to get violent. I would consider kicking at your front door violent enough to warrant at least calling the cops and getting them to shoo. You know what I mean? Actually, there are some police officers who are even in league with the land sharks. In fact, since the Sano Corporation is the one backing this project, I wouldn't be surprised if they really have made some arrangements in that area.
無理かな。
I'd imagine it wouldn't. Like they say, no private intervention. The police simply won't bother with private disputes over land rights. Of course, what I described is more like the past, back when Yakuza didn't have to fear the law. Now, the police will show up if they so much as yell too loud.
そっか。ありがとう。浅井くんは物知りだな。
You poor girl. You're just being played right now. She really is a sincere girl. Unlike you. Is it okay if I keep coming to your house? I might be able to help somehow.
それは願ったり叶ったり嬉しかったりだよ。
What a strange way of putting it. Also, be sure to tell your dad. Tsubaki sighed as she replied.
ごめんね。彼氏ってうるさくて。
I don't really mind. I have my plans. It didn't really feel all that uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Oh, come on. Is there a single man on this planet who wouldn't be thrilled to be called your boyfriend? You. Silence followed. I'm sure she's turning red on the other end of the line.
ありがとう。日記に書いておく。
Why the diary? Still, there's no doubt that she trusts me now. Based on tonight's dinner, I could see that Tsubaki's whole family loves her. Her father is stubbornly refusing to sell the land. Yet, might he listen to what his beloved daughter has to say? I can make good use of this. At that moment, Tsubaki spoke.
あのね、浅井くん。
Yes?
私、浅井くんに謝らなきゃいけないんだ。
Oh? What for? She seemed quite serious.
私ね、浅井くんってちょっと冷たい人なのかなって思ってた時期あるんだ。
Well, you were correct about that assumption. I see.
1年生の時からずっとクラス一緒だったでしょ。でもあんまり話したことないし、話しかけてもブスッとしているような印象だったから。
Indeed. Until recently, I never had any interest in Tsubaki. What about it?
いや、だから。ごめんなさい。
You don't need to apologize for that. Again, this pain in my heart. That's not something to apologize for. Why do you have to bow your head over no more than an impression of someone? Well, I could be a total dick here and say I don't like this woman. Or I can see if I can get at least some semblance of a human conscience to peer within that cold little heart of yours. Well, I understand. See you tomorrow at school.
電話ありがとう。
I still hear Tsubaki's breath over the phone. That breath lingered patiently until I finally hung up. The fiend. I am a fiend. I don't even feel guilty about using a girl who trusts me so completely. I should get to sleep. I crawl into bed and close my eyes. The image of a smiling girl appeared in my mind, an image I hurriedly erased. This emotion raising its ugly head in my heart must be what they call a conscience. It's said that a studious person can never go back to hard work once they learn the pleasure of leisure. Similarly, rediscovering one's conscience halfway down the path of darkness wildly shakes one's illusion of control. That night, I had a hard time sleeping. I left for school around noon.
おい、京介。
Yes, mortal? Eiichi found me in the hallway. Hey, did you like the food last night?
まずくはなかったかな。
You sound like a douchebag.
そんなことより、お前、椿に気があんのか？
You're annoying, you know that?
おい、俺はよ、お前のダチだけどよ、なんつうの。お前が俺を差し置いて女作ろうってのが許せない感も出していくわけだよ。
I should have chosen a better friend. What's with you? Are you lonely or something? Come to think of it, Miss Noriko did just dump him.
つうか、例えば、俺がもし女だったら、お前どうするよ。
I wouldn't treat you any differently, considering what a little cockroach you are. That's a profoundly disturbing hypothetical situation.
俺が女で、実はお前のことが好きとかいう展開があったら、お前どうよ。
Damn. Now that's what I call a bad ending. Let's stop talking about this. You're giving me the creeps.
さすがに冗談だよ。しかし、椿を狙うとは お目が高いね。
I haven't really started gunning for her yet, but yeah.
俺は役に立つぜ。
Not really. Is that so?
おうよ、こう見えても俺はみんな大好き栄一くんで通ってるからな。
Well, I'm not so sure about that anymore after Usami thoroughly uncovered our plot in front of the whole classroom. You know, the one that you kind of bungled up a bit. I see. So the ladies still trust you.
お前が泣いて頼めば、椿との仲を進展させてやらんでもない。
I think you're forgetting your place here, mortal. I am the one with the big G in his name. You really think you could arrange something?
おうよ。とりあえず今日の放課後に俺扮する暴漢が椿を襲う。そこに颯爽とお前が登場するわけだ。
That totally won't ruin your public persona. I was an idiot for thinking I could expect anything from you.
はあ?
Where on earth can you find a girl who'd fall head over heels in love over such a stupid trick?
いや、椿ならありえるって。
Don't be ridiculous. Actually, I can't honestly deny it. For Tsubaki, it just might work.
何の相談すか?
How long were you lingering there? Usami lazily made an appearance.
邪悪な気配を感じるんですが、邪悪な相談ですか? いやね、京介くんがやっぱり椿ちゃんと仲良くなりたいみたいでさ。マジっすか? めっちゃ邪悪じゃないっすか。それで協力してあげようって話してたの。策を練ってたわけですね。邪悪な策を。何かいいアイディアないかな。とりあえず今日の放課後に絵的地さん扮する暴漢が椿を襲う。そこに颯爽と浅井さんが登場すればどうでしょう。
She totally heard what we were talking about. That's exactly the same idea that Aichi had.
ほら、宇佐美さんもこう言ってるよ。
No freaking way. You guys are useless. At that moment, a teacher I recognized passed by.
宇佐美さんよね。
あ、のりこ先生。
As if purposely avoiding Aichi, Miss Noriko approached Usami.
あなたアルバイトしてるでしょ。
あ、はあ。許可は取っていますが、何か問題でもありましたか？
そんな話は聞いてないわ。
It looks like there is some trouble within. I hate getting tongue twisted like that. Anyway, looks like there is some miscommunication within the higher ups.
そんなバカな。担任の先生にちゃんとお願いしたはずですが。
とにかく放課後ちょっと職員室に来てもらいますからね。
あ、はあ。
Maybe I should be feeling paranoid that this might be some kind of elaborate little ploy that Maou set up to get her away from us for some reason, but honestly, I don't really feel like that's what's going on here. Miss Noriko laughed.
自分、居残り決定です。
What a disaster.
まあ何かの間違いだと思いますが、今日のバイトに入れなくなったらまずいです。
Do you need money that badly?
あ、いえいえ。店長にまた迷惑をかけてしまうのがなんとも。
But you're dirt poor. Whatever. It has nothing to do with me. Class time. Hey, Tsubaki. I immediately sought her out after class. How about we go out today?
今日も?
Tsubaki's face seemed somehow happy, and I'm sure it wasn't just my imagination.
ひろあきも一緒でいい?
Hiroki. Is he the kid who saw us to her front door last night? Tsubaki nodded.
朝に遊んでってせがまれちゃったの。
That's awfully cute. She seemed to relax following that compliment.
今5歳なんだ。夜更かしばっかりして大変なの。
That's okay. I can just chat with your father for a bit, right?
わかったよ。一緒に帰ろう。 今日もまた浅井くんと一緒です。嬉しいな。楽しいな。
I'll certainly be busy.
おい、京介。今日は部活にしようぜ。
Jeez, even I'm already sick of that crap.
冷て野郎だな。んだよ。そんなに椿と一緒にいたいか？
Well, I'd certainly rather be alone with her rather than you. Mortal. Whatever. Shouldn't you be finding a new woman right now?
闇討ちしてやる。椿じゃなくてお前をボッコにしてやる。椿の前で大恥かかせてやる。
I could smite you.
いや、待て。そしたらそれをきっかけに椿との仲が進展したりして。ちっきしょう。どっちに転んでも OK 牧場博多駅前してってやつじゃねえか。
And that is why I'm the big G, and you are just a dumb mortal. I ignored Aichi and checked my cell phone instead. Kanon's not at school today. She has training. Things sure are quiet around here. School ended. Tsubaki and I melted into the swarm of students leaving school.
今日は栄一くんとおはるちゃんは来ないんだよね。
Oharu-chan? I'm curious about this new nickname.
さすがに勇者っていうのもどうかと思うし、かといっていつまでも宇佐美さんって呼ぶのも嫌だったの。
Even so, isn't Oharu-chan a bit weird?
そうかな。可愛くない？
Well, to be fair, everything about her is cute. Sounds like someone from one of those chicken soup for the soul books. I have never even heard of that before.
私、毎朝それ録画してるよ。
Wonder if it's some kind of Japanese children book series or something. I continued to engage in the idle prattle with schoolboys we walked along. I think Usami-san went to the faculty office.
職員室？
Tsubaki looked concerned. I think it has something to do with not having permission for her part-time job.
怒られてるのかな？
I'd imagine so. It's against the rules to work without the leave of the school.
本当に許可もらってなかったのかな？
I guess I can't say for sure, but that's what the teacher said. Tsubaki came to a sudden halt.
私、ちょっと職員室行ってくる。
No, you can leave her. I mean, she's surprisingly capable in a pinch. Huh? Why?
きっと誤解だと思うから。
It's not your business, though. What's she doing? Even so, what are you going to do about it?
私、クラス委員だし。
So?
お友達だし。
Yeah. So?
おはるちゃんって変わってるけど、きっと最低限の常識は持ち合わせているはずだよ。
I repeat. So what? She shrank back a bit.
何か力になれるかもしれない。
Well, your heart's in the right place. Wait a second! Tsubaki ran down the hallway. I waited about half an hour in front of the office. This isn't anything but a waste of time. Friend, huh? What does Tsubaki even know about Usami?
部屋助かった。礼を言うぞ、椿。
What'd you do? It seemed Usami had been released unharmed.
よかったね。誤解が解けて。椿のおかげだ。
What happened?
椿がいきなり説教食らってる私と先生の間に割って入ったんすよ。
And then?
おはるちゃんは悪くないですって。
I bet that came as a shock.
いや、私も先生もいろいろ混乱しました。つうか、おはるちゃんってなんだ？あだ名だよ。かわいいでしょ？却下だ。もう日記に書いちゃったよ。
Poor Tsubaki.
とにかく混乱している私たちに追い打ちをかけるように椿はまくし立てました。ごめんね、私も慌ててたみたい。 なんやかんやあって結局アルバイト許可証が見つかって誤解が解けたんすよね。
I guess filibusters really do work even in school situations. Who would have thought it? Wow. Nice work, Tsubaki. Yet Tsubaki just smiled as if she hadn't done anything.
私も勇者様のお役に立てて嬉しいよ。
I just did what anyone would have done, was written on her face. She looked neither proud nor displeased.
私はすごい嬉しい。私が男だったらお前を監禁して毎晩めでてやるところだ。
Is that how you show your gratitude?
いずれ借りは返す。というわけで、バイトあるんで帰ります。
But seriously, Usami, I don't think just locking people up like that here is exactly a heroic thing to do. Unless it's consensual, then, well, whatever.
じゃあね。
Usami quickly disappeared.
じゃあ、私たちも行こっか。
Yeah. These things happen, I guess. Tsubaki's frantic actions actually helped Usami. There was no calculation or self-interest involved. Yes, these things happen, and it's very disconcerting. I guess it would be to a thoroughly self-serving bastard like you. I was immediately surrounded by the family upon entering Tsubaki's house. Thank you for having me over yet again.
いやいや、構わんよ。毎日来なさい。うちが賑やかになっていい。
I think, well, I guess you're technically right. I mean, I'm basically target practice for the little one. Isn't it already more than lively enough? The kids are all very open.
お兄ちゃん遊んで。私が遊んでもらうの。
They begged for my attention as they wrapped themselves around my legs.
いや、浅井くんのことはね、椿から聞いているんだよ。
お父さん。
椿ももう年頃なのに、彼氏の一つや二つもできんもんかと心配していたんだ。
だから彼氏じゃないってば。
親バカじゃないが、椿はしっかり者でね、弟たちの面倒ばかり見てて、自分のことはいつも二の次なんだ。
Yeah, I've noticed.
どうか娘をよくしてやってください。
He bowed slightly, emphasizing his trust with a kind smile. What kind of environment could produce such a kind-hearted girl as Tsubaki? The one you're in right now, son. I often pondered this question, but I felt I'd gotten a glimpse of the answer. By the way, sir, no time to dilly-dally. I'll cut straight to the matter at hand. I heard something about a dispute regarding your property. Tsubaki's father looked surprised.
あ、お父さん。浅井くんはね、そういうの詳しいんだって。なんでも、浅井くんのお父さんが偉い社長さんらしくて。
お父さんは何の会社を？
He dabbles in both finances and real estate.
おお、立派な方だね。
If only you knew. I was thinking that maybe I could be of some help.
君が？
Yes. I'm not officially an employee, but I help with Dad's work a lot. A deep smile appeared on Tsubaki's father's face. He seems to be a little dubious.
気持ちは嬉しいけど、うちの問題はうちで考えるよ。
Sino Corporation is backing this development. He raised his eyebrows a bit upon hearing these words. I asked a broker familiar with the real estate around here, and it looks like the land in the Eastern District is being eaten up at high prices. The house and land alone would fetch a considerable sum, I'd imagine. That is, if you're willing to sell, of course. Taking the apple orchard into consideration, the price would likely skyrocket. I wouldn't expect a deal to be so difficult to stomach, excuse me. I don't know where I got sufficient. Tsubaki's father then flashed a grave expression.
いや、すまない。椿と同じ年頃の子だと思って、浅井君を侮っていたようだ。
So the reason you won't sell this land is because of personal attachment, correct?
君の言う通りだよ。祖父の代から続いている土地でね。いくらお金を積まれたって出ていくわけにはいかないんだ。
Won't that be difficult? Huge companies like Sano are promoting the development tourism industry.
地上げ屋というのは面倒なもんだね。
Calling them land sharks makes them sound just terrible. Technically, they're city development professionals. A land shark by any other name. Nevertheless, because of the harassment and violence that took place during the bubble period, land sharks became the popular term for people whose jobs consist of driving others away from their land.
昨日はまるでヤクザみたいなのが来たんだ。
To be honest, sir, I don't think they'll stop coming until you break.
そういうものなのかな。
Their tenacity is something not of this world.
何にせよ、うちを出ていくつもりはないよ。子供たちもいることだしね。
なにお父さん、帰ったの？
みんなこの家が好きだろう？
He practically jumped in the air as he nodded.
悪い人、僕がやっつけるよ。
I should leave this matter for another time. I can convince him slowly.
さあさあ、そろそろご飯ですよ。
You're really delusional if you think this can work. Because I can already tell this man is not one who would easily break. Tsubaki's mother brought food to the table.
ご飯、ご飯。
All 7 members of the family quickly got excited. Even Tsubaki joined to their noise-making. Just promise me you'll let me help. For Tsubaki's sake. Her father nodded in satisfaction. Thank you for dinner.
お粗末様でした。美味しかった？
Although her mom did most of the cooking, Tsubaki made one dish. Yeah, the miso soup was excellent. I rarely get to eat like this.
浅井くんリッチだもんね。いつも高そうなものを食べてるのかな？
That's not true. I don't spend a lot on food, but I often eat out for business reasons.
ひろあきは？
One of Tsubaki's sisters suddenly latched onto her hand.
あれ？
I glanced around, but Hiraki was nowhere to be found.
トイレかな？
Should I go look?
ひろあき？
She yelled. No response.
まさかまたか。
Again? Tsubaki followed her father's example and murmured something similar.
外かな？見てくる。
This is certainly a tense situation. Oh dear, I hope he's not outside and more of those thugs came around and found him. What's going on? I followed her out. The cold night air brushed against my skin. Tsubaki, what's this about? Tsubaki had an overcoat on, and her breath misted into the air.
ひろあきね、いたずらっ子なの。
Pranks?
突然いなくなったりして、私たちを驚かそうとするの。
Well, that's a rather annoying habit. You mean he's done this before?
前もね、夜中にいきなり家を飛び出して、大騒ぎになったことあるの。
I guess he's just trying to get some attention? What an energetic kid. He's such an overt troublemaker that I'd say he's downright brave.
怖いもの知らずな性格ではあるんだけどね。
He'll grow up to be a great man. I spoke in a joking manner.
とにかく、 探さなきゃ。
Where?
えっと、
She couldn't even begin to guess. I should help her out. Only for the sake of getting her trust, of course. You said he's done this before, right?
うん。
Your brother, Hiroki-kun, right? Where did you find him before?
近くの公園だけど。
Then let's try searching there first. Obviously, it's unnerving to have a 5-year-old brother walking around outside this time of night. Nighttime in the Eastern District was so quiet that it was creepy.
ひろあき
She yelled at the top of her lungs into the cold night sky.
隠れてないで出てきてよ。
We're probably disrupting the neighborhood. Thankfully, the residences here aren't crowded together. I also yelled. Hey! Your big sister Tsubaki is looking for you! Of course, if his goal is to scare us, he's probably hiding. I doubt he'll come out no matter how much we shout. Frightening his family and wanting them to care about him are two sides of the same coin.
どうしよう。どこ行っちゃったんだろう。
Maybe we should call Eiichi?
栄一くん
Yeah. I took out my cell phone. How would he help here?
いいよ。浅井くんだけでも迷惑なのに。
Don't worry about it. I called him. He didn't pick up right away.
なんだよ。椿に振られたか
He seemed somewhat jovial. Huh?
いや、慰めてほしいわけだろ。こんな時間に電話してくるってことはよ。ったく、京介ちゃんはマジ俺がいないと何もできねえな。
It would be a pain to explain everything. Anyways, can you come over here?
あったよ。じっくりと慰めてやろうじゃねえか。
I'm still at the Eastern District's park.
公園って駅降りたところの
Yeah, that one.
干渉に浸ってるわけね。オッケー、一緒にブランコでも乗ろうぜ。
I am the big G, son. I will ride all the swings by myself. Thanks, man. I hung up the phone. To the end, Eiichi couldn't hold back his sinister laugh. He said I'll be here momentarily.
本当？悪いな。栄一くんも優しいな。
You're too trusting, you sweet summer child. You're really worried about your brother, aren't you? I could tell just by looking at her. The night turned colder.
ひろあきと今日遊ぼうって約束してたの。
I see. He thought I'd get to play with his sister, so when I came home with you, he started sulking?
浅井くんは悪くないよ。ごめんね。気を使ってもらって。
Tsubaki bothered to thank me for my thoughts. Well, we know the kinds of places kids can hide. Let's keep looking. We split up to search the area. It's been half an hour since we left the house. We haven't found anything after searching the entire park. Let's go back. I suggested this and gauged Tsubaki's reaction. Maybe Hiroki already went home. In fact, if we just waited, don't you think he'd come back for sure?
必ず？
Well, a 5-year-old kid isn't going to stay out all night.
でも危ない目に遭ってるかも。
Dangerous situation? Surely not. You mean like getting I didn't finish saying the word kidnapped. It would be inappropriate to even as a joke. It is nighttime. He might catch a cold.
もうひろあきったら。
Because it's so dark, I can't see clearly, but I can tell that Tsubaki's coat is smeared in dirt from the park. By the lake, the sandlot, the plants, she looked everywhere desperately, meticulously. Let's go back. I feel like I'm forgetting something.
栄一くんはうちに来てくれるの？
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Eiichi. Yeah, I guess he should be here any minute now. At that moment, a person appeared at the park entrance. Even though he's pretty short, he's still way too tall to be here at Hiraki.
やあやあ、どうしたの二人で。
Oh, you're finally here.
ごめんね、寒いのに。
Eiichi glanced at me.
どうしたのかな？二人仲良さそうじゃない。おいおい、なんだよこれ。どうなっちゃってんの、京介ちゃんよ。お前が振られたっていう展開じゃねえの
Tsubaki's younger brother has gone missing.
そうなんだ。へえ。ありがとう、栄一くん。わざわざ来てもらっちゃって。
ざけんなよ。んな話聞いてねえっつうの。
You never asked. Sorry, I told her you'd help us look for him.
僕はありがとう。当然だよね、お友達なんだし。
ちきしょう、京介てめえ話がちげえじゃねえか。
I know, you're planning to hopefully spend your evening with me, resting my head on your pretty little shoulder, right? I'm sure that thought must have been very pleasing for you. Hey, it was your misunderstanding. You jumped the gun. The three of us head back toward the house. On the way back, we looked through the fields by the roadside and behind telephone poles. Still, we never found Hiroki. This isn't good.
うぜマジうぜ。なんで俺ちゃんがガキなんか探さなきゃなんねえんだよ。
For reasons I don't understand, only I can hear the voice of Eiichi's heart.
てかサミマジサミ。冬ムカつくマジ殺す冬殺す。サミ
You okay, Eiichi?
いやいやこれやべえよマジやべえよ。俺ちゃんがこんな苦労を味わわされるなんてよ。
Huh? Didn't you just show up? Tsubaki and I have been out here for a while now.
これよ、そんなヒロアキってガキンチョを見つけ出したら俺マジやべえよ。マジ大人をからかった罪っつうの。人生の厳しさを教えちゃうよ。
You're gonna learn that kid? Is that just some different way of saying I'm gonna teach that kid that I'm unfamiliar with? Cause that seems like poor grammar to me. Even though I never asked him to do much, Eiichi's getting pretty angry. At that moment, Tsubaki let out a small yell.
ひろあき？
なに
He suddenly appeared from behind the fence.
びっくりした？
A little. That is the smile of a prankster.
ひろあき。
The tension visibly eased off Tsubaki.
ずっとここに隠れてたんだよ。まあ。お姉ちゃんたちが家を出てくのも見えたんだけど、隠れてたの。
You know, he showed no signs of thinking what he did was wrong.
どう？わかんなかったでしょ？
Even for a child, this was a bit too much. Forget about me for a moment. Tsubaki was seriously worried the whole time.
楽しかった。
Tsubaki fell to her knees in front of her brother as he stretched. They looked at each other.
ひろあき？どうしたのお姉ちゃん。
I thought that she was going to scold him. No, I anticipated it. To personally witness a different side of the ever-smiling Tsubaki.
よかったよ。
With just those words, she wrapped both her arms around her brother. I peeked at the side of Tsubaki's face. There was nothing but the expression of a sister, happy to see her brother safe and sound.
本当に。
She smiled happily again, as if to reassure her brother.
お姉ちゃん、僕をたくさん探した？うん。寒かった？平気だったよ。ひろあきは？ 僕は寒くなかった。もう眠いよ。そっか。じゃあ、一緒に寝ようか。やった！
Tsubaki stood up and pulled her brother's hand. Hey, Tsubaki. I can't condone this. This'll just make Hiroki do it again. Just as I was about to say this, Hiroki spoke.
ごめんね、お姉ちゃん。もうしないよ。そう？うん、しない。絶対しない。
What exactly brought this on?
だってお姉ちゃん優しいんだもん。
It looked as if there was an aura of strength emanating from the siblings' joined palms.
二人とも、ごめんね。ありがとう。
No problem. I was uncomfortable. I just stood in the doorway like an idiot. After being shown the family's harmony, I could only stand there purposeless.
ちょっと
Ichi was the one who broke the silence.
嘘！俺何しに来たの？っていうかマジ寒いんですけど。
Looks like he finally took off the good little boy mask he wears at school.
ごめんね。H 君、ご飯でも食べていく？
ご飯？
肉じゃがだけど。
マジ肉じゃが？嘘。いいじゃん。僕肉じゃが大好き。甘いもんの次に大好き。
News to me, not that I ever really cared.
じゃあ入って。
I'll be going home. I turned around.
お茶でも飲んでいかない？
No, I have an errand I need to run.
お風呂入っていかない？
No, I mean it. I'm alright.
ごめんね。きっちりとお礼したくて。
It's nothing. See you tomorrow. I started walking away.
じゃあな。
See you too, you little troll. I didn't feel the cold winter wind. This must be what they call an overheated mind. I started thinking seriously about how to push this family into selling. Ah, Maou again, huh? The wind tonight is cold enough to pierce through one's skin. Kidnapping. A crime said to be one of the most despicable. However, which crime isn't despicable? Maou fully understands that the action he's about to take is a sin. His people had already done a background check. He found the answer. The reason Miwa Tsubaki's family won't sell their land has nothing to do with money. That land has been in her family since the First World War. Her father is very stubborn. There was no telling how much time it would take, using conventional methods to get him to sell. And even if they did take the time out to try, it was doubtful that the result would be a desirable one. This isn't a financial problem. But even so, there's a financial loophole. There are indeed many times when money cannot solve matters. Maou must at least admit that. There are emotions, love, family, certain kinds of pride, things that are more important than money to many. However, even for these exceptions, there's always a way to convert such things to something more fiscal. Mao's plot is to transform this issue from an emotional one into an economic one. That plot took the shape of a crime in perfect form.
あとは宇佐美がどう動くか。
He left that place with a faint stride of an evil spirit. You planning to drag Tsubaki's family into your mess here just to lure Sami out? So it's possible that even if we got involved, even if we didn't get involved, Tsubaki's family would still end up getting pulled into the Maou business anyway. It's rather unfortunate. Next day, I went to Dr. Akimoto's clinic.
やあ、京介くん。おはよ
The counseling room is clean. Akimoto is smiling like the Buddha, as always. Good morning. I hope that our hour today is fruitful.
う。わかってるよ。学園もあるだろうしね。
I won't be showing up until this afternoon, though.
さて、前回はどんな話をしていたっけ？
We were talking about my childhood.
よく覚えてるね。いや、失礼。前回の最後にも君のことを忘れっぽい性格だなんて言ってしまったね。
Is that so? I don't remember, and it doesn't bother me.
覚えてない？
What about it? I smiled slightly. Surely you aren't implying that I'm suffering from some form of memory illness.
いやいや、安心して。君が診察料を払い忘れたことはないよ。
That's a relief. This doctor is pretty good with words.
今回聞いてみたいのはね、京介くん。
His pudgy, round face closed in slightly.
君のお父さんのことなんだ。
You mean Azai Gonzo? It feels like he's talking about someone else.
実のお父さんだよ。
Suddenly, my stomach started to ache. He was a trading company employee. Although he was deep in debt, he was always a wonderful father in my mind.
なるほど。
Otherwise, there's nothing much to say. I turned away from Dr. Akimoto.
亡くなっているのかな？
Gonzo hasn't told you. Gonzo was the one who introduced me to Dr. Akimoto.
何も？
He looked long and hard at me. Anyway, would you mind if we change the subject? I don't want to remember these things. I definitely don't want to remember these things. That's a door I've always locked tightly.
それだけ嫌な出来事があったんだね。
Dr. Akimoto, please change the subject. Good lord. I never once for any real therapy sessions from you. I just need a doctor's note so that school will excuse my absences. That's why I cough up the money to uphold these farcical conversations.
京介くん、君にやる気がなくても、私はいつも本気なんだよ。仕事だからね。
He spoke almost as if he could see right through me.
遊びじゃないんだよ。ね？
At that moment, a proverb sprang into my mind. You can't judge a book by its cover. There was something important that I was forgetting. That's right. You're an acquaintance of Gonzo, after all. For a moment, I saw the expression of a wild boar in that pudgy face, gazing sharply at me.
君に何の異常もないというのなら、すぐにも通うのをやめてもらう。重ねて言うが、私だって仕事なんだよ。時間は貴重だ。君ならわかるね。
In other words, Dr. Akimoto, you suspect that there might actually be something wrong with me. Akimoto shook his head in a vague manner. He never answered that question. Never mind. We were talking about my biological father, is that right?
名前を聞いてもいいかな？
Toshikatsu. I purposely left out his family name.
商社に勤めていらっしゃったと。
In Sano Corporation.
はは、
Whenever people hear of someone working at Sano, they immediately get the impression of a great and well-educated man. This impression isn't mistaken.
じゃあ転勤が多かったんじゃないかな。海外とか行ったかい？
No. Not very often. Well, not from what I can remember, anyway. I'm pretty sure he was an accountant in the main branch.
そっか。君はちょっと普通のことは違うから帰国子女なのかと思ったよ。
I chuckled and shook my head.
ところで君のお父さんは商社に勤めていてどうして借金を？
I believe he wanted to build his dream house. That was supposed to be a joke.
偏見かもしれないが山王物産の経理をしていたような方がマイホームを持つのに消費者金融を頼るとは思えないよ。
Dr. Akimoto is exactly right. In order to pay for his debt, father had to get his hands on dirty money. He was swindled.
騙された。
Oh, great. Excuse me. Looks like that delayed sneeze finally came back and decided to go through with itself. You know, swindled. Swindled by his trusted friend and ended up becoming his guarantor. Guarantor? Dr. Akimoto gulped when he heard this.
ちょっと待ってくれないか。
It seems he figured it out.
君のお父さんというのは。
An expression of fear and awe spread across his face.
ひょっとして。
That's right.
都市活。
I was aware that my heart was rapidly becoming cold. Yes, he is that Samejima Totoshi Hakatsu. After that, time seemed to pass in an instant. Dr. Akimoto didn't say a word afterward. He just closed his eyes. After leaving the room, I finally calmed down. I headed for school.
兄さん兄さん
Hello, Kanon. Upon arriving at school, Kanon immediately began to pester me. It seemed that she'd been absent for school for a while due to a training camp.
聞いて聞いて聞いて
Oh, what is it?
みんなも聞いてなんすか何かなうん
She threw her chin up into the air, as if to herald her bragging.
のんちゃんね今度テレビ出るよわあすごーいいついつ生放送だよいつゲスト出演するのだからいつなの24時間ぶっ続け生テレビっていう番組だよ
だから俺の話を聞けよノアマ
Keep ignoring him. Hey, not bad. If you're invited to be a guest on that program, then it means you really made it big.
どんなことするのセントラル街でね夜中ねマラソンしてる人に応援するんだって
That night?
ちょうどのんちゃんのいるところがマラソンの休憩地点みたいでのんちゃんがお水とか渡すの
Is that so? Then a lot of people will show up to see that, won't they? When people gather, money gathers. That's great, Kanon.
やったー兄さんに褒められた
Usami was the next to speak.
自分もテレビ経験あるんすよね
Huh?
へえ本当
No, it's an obvious load of bull. As what? Some gloomy character on a comedy show?
いえいえアーティストとして芸人いわゆる一つの芸人ですね
So it really was one of those comedy shows.
まあ私の話はいいじゃないですか
It's got something to do with playing the violin, right? Aren't you the one who brought this up?
うさみん面白いなお笑い芸人さんだったんだねみんなすごいな私だけ特に目立った活動とかしてないけど私はそれでいいんです
Lunch break ended on this strange, absurd note. I dashed out of the classroom right as the bell rang. I was weaving my way through the students as I spoke over the phone. Yes, this is Azai Kyosuke. I'm heading over there right now. I need to talk with Sino Corporation's developers. I really don't want to meet with them face to face, but given that the situation still hasn't been settled after all this time, I have to at least apologize in person.
Azai-kun!
I heard Tsubaki's voice. I ignored her and continued my phone call. Oh, a bit late? I see. No, it's okay. Looks like I still have some time before the meeting. So Tsubaki had great timing.
Azai-kun, ちょっと遊んでいかない?
After saying goodbye, I turned off my cell phone and turned toward Tsubaki. It should be okay if it's only for an hour or so. How about Central Boulevard? She nodded like a little kid.
昨日のお礼がしたかったんだよ。
Yesterday?
ひろあき、探してくれたでしょ?
Oh, right. That was nothing.
変なAzai-kun.
We headed for Central Boulevard. Central Boulevard is always crowded around dusk. So, how do you plan to repay me?
クラシックの CD とかどうかなと思って。
Oh, a gift?
何がいいかな?
Thank you for your gesture, but I already own all the CDs I want.
ああ、それもそうだね。Azai-kun、クラシック通だもんね。
A fanatic? Me? Well, I wouldn't go that far. If I called myself a fanatic, I defend the true fanatics.
別にマニアとか言ってないんだけどな。
Oh, wait a minute. Perhaps that will be coming out soon.
あれ?
A CD by a favorite musician of mine. Although she's taken a break from music, a publishing company is still releasing her CDs. When a company has copyright to the music, even if the musicians no longer play, they can still repackage and re-release their works.
何の楽器?
The violin.
へえ、バイオリンなんだ。
Violin. No, not violin. Violin. It's a V.
ごめん。
Anyway, violin. Interesting coinkydink. What with Usami also playing the violin? Is there a connection, I wonder? Her interpretation of Air is my favorite.
エールって言うと?
Or wait, it could be Usami's mother, actually, for all we know. Air on the G string. It's so moving that it brings tears to my eyes. You, having tears in your eyes? I don't believe you. Recently, I hear it's been used as a requiem. I can see why, too. I wouldn't mind resting in peace if I got to do so to that song.
G-senjouのアリアって鎮魂歌なの?
So, replace air with devil, I gotta wonder, is devil on the G string supposed to also be a requiem? Well, not really, but... Hey, you remember that big terrorist attack in America a while back? It was used during that.
へえ、知らなかった。
Anyway, I'm really looking forward to it.
楽しそうだね。
Yeah.
楽しそうだね。
Why'd you say that twice?
Azai-kun、クラシックの話になると生き生きするね。
Well, maybe.
Azai-kun が楽しそうだと、なんだか私も嬉しいよ。
I see. She really can spout some corny things. And so naturally at that. Anyway, don't bother buying me a CD. Why don't you just treat me to a cup of coffee? You don't have any part-time jobs, do you?
そうだよ。
What about an allowance? I looked at the coffee sitting in front of me. The coffee Tsubaki paid for.
うちってそんなに裕福なわけじゃないからね。
So have you been saving your money?
夏休みとお正月にアルバイトしてたんだよ。それでなんとかやりくりしてるの。
You don't work during the semester.
弟を保育園に迎えに行ったりするからね。アルバイトしている暇はないかな。
I see. That's why you went home so quickly that other time. I'm pretty sure this is the second time I've had coffee with Tsubaki. Last time we just chatted for a little bit before parting.
今日ももう少ししたら帰るね。
To Hiroki's kindergarten? Tsubaki nodded. I decided to use this opportunity to get some information. Well, you have quite a large family, right?
そうだね。びっくりしたでしょ。
What about family expenses? Your budget's generally pretty tight, huh?
どうかな。苦労したことはないけど。
I put on a gentle face. You know, I heard something from an acquaintance in real estate.
うん。
Your family's land is situated right in the middle of a market hotspot right now. Your folks might as well be sitting on a gold mine.
そうらしいね。
And don't take this the wrong way, but if your dad decided to sell, there are supposedly people willing to pay for your move and the first month's rent at your new house. Tsubaki remained silent. I shouldn't push her too quickly. Sorry, you probably don't want to move, do you?
心配してくれてるんだよね。
Well, the reality is they're backed by Sano. The local government seems to be cooperating with them in the development of this tourist attraction as well. Things might get hairy if you keep rejecting their offers.
うちの近くの景色もどんどん変わってるもんね。ご近所さんもかなりいなくなっちゃったみたい。
Well, while the term land sharks does sound bad, they're thinking about what's best for everyone. Those moving out, as well as those developing.
うん。スキー場の周りに遊園地とかできたら、町の人も喜ぶもんね。
Although those developing the land benefit far more than those people who are pushing to sell into selling their family land.
ひょっとして大きな目で見たら、うちがわがまましてるってことになるのかな。
I wouldn't go that far. That's exactly what I'm saying.
でもね、浅井くん、
Tsubaki's eyes were huge.
私はお父さんの意見に従うんだよ。
I could almost feel her passion.
だって家族だもの。
Before my eyes were her true intentions. Doubtless, unwavering and stripped bare.
お父さんはたとえあの辺でうちだけが取り残されても出ていかないと思うな。私、そういうお父さんを応援したいの。
In other words, even if I get Tsubaki on my side, it's to no avail. She'll choose her family over her lover. I see. You and your father are really close, aren't you?
大好きだよ。
Of all the youths fooling around this time of night on Central Boulevard, how many would say with a serious face that they love their fathers? You and your dad must share a lot of fond memories or something.
思い出？
You know what I mean. Beautiful stories maybe? Like, oh, when I was little, I got lost on the mountain and my dad searched for me day and night. That sort of thing. Tsubaki chuckled.
特にないよ。全然普通だよ。家族でちょっとおしゃれなレストランに食事したり、みんなでリンゴ取ったりしたくらいかな。
That's it?
美談か。そういうのなくても、お父さんは大好きだよ。
There's always something I didn't like about Tsubaki, but now I knew what it was. She's too perfect. It had irked me when she ran to help Usami. Tsubaki trusts her friends just because they're her friends. Tsubaki trusts her family just because they're her family. So someone like me, who doesn't trust anyone, feels uncomfortable. I find myself wondering how someone like that could really exist.
あ、ごめん。そろそろ帰らなきゃ。
Wow, it's gotten pretty late.
昨日は本当にありがとう。これからもよろしくね。
The brightness of her smile irritated me somehow. After parting with Tsubaki, I immediately made a phone call. On the other end of the line is the person I was originally supposed to be visiting in person, Sino Corporation's developer. I'm terribly sorry. There was an emergency that I couldn't put off. Yes, I understand. I'll make it happen. Yes. I was in a horrible mood. The daylight hours were very short today. The sky had already turned a shade of violet, and the streets in the Eastern District would soon welcome the night. Dusk is the time of day when people are least on their guard. This might also hold true for children.
坊や、こんにちは。
Maou had prepared a mask specifically for this occasion and disguised his voice along with his face. The child showed no suspicion. He walked over to Maou. There was absolutely no one around. This sidewalk was near the park, on a lightly traveled pedestrian path. Overgrown zelzaka trees, unkempt by the city, gave respite from prying eyes. But due to its distance from the center of Tomabetsu City, few people ever came here. That said, if someone suddenly showed up, he would abort his plan. After all, as he stood there now, Maou looked incredibly conspicuous.
ああ、お馬さんだ。
The child showed much interest in Mao's horse mask.
お馬さん、どうしたの？
Maou bent to his knees and spoke.
困ってるんだ。道がわからないんだよ。
道がわからないの？
助けてもらえないかな。
At that moment, the boy showed a bright, innocent smile.
うん、助けるよ。困ってる人は助けなきゃいけないってお姉ちゃんが言ってたんだ。
そう、ありがとう。いいお姉ちゃんだね。
どこに行きたいの？
美輪さんの家に行きたいんだ。
美輪？
うん。知らないかな？
The boy's big eyes grew even bigger.
美輪って僕のお家だよ。
Under his mask, Maou widened his eyes as if he was surprised.
へえ。案内してもらえないかな？
いいよ。
The boy warms easily to strangers. He hasn't learned yet to distrust others.
車なんだけど、乗ってもらえるかな？
Maou turned around and pointed to a white sedan he had parked there earlier.
お馬さんなのに車なの？
He tilted his little head skeptically. Surely even a Miwa child at his age has been told not to get into a stranger's car. Maou quickly thought of something.
お馬さん怪我してるんだ。だから自分の足で歩けないんだ。
大丈夫？
坊やに案内してもらえればきっと大丈夫だよ。
わかった。僕頑張るね。
He immediately ran toward the car. When Maou opened the door, he promptly jumped into the back seat. Maou followed the boy inside and sat beside him. Another man sits in the driver's seat. He's not Japanese. He's a foreign criminal specifically hired for this particular plan. Even if the police catch him, he'll simply be extradited. That's why these troublemaking foreigners make the perfect accomplices for a crime such as tonight's. Give him money, tell him what he needs to do, and then tell him to go back home. Preparations have already been made for him to stow away somewhere. Because he doesn't know much Japanese, he can't leak the plan by talking too much. The chance that the driver will reveal the identity of Maou to the police is 0. The door closed. Maou continued to inspect the surroundings carefully to confirm that there were no witnesses. The more bungling kidnappers end up getting caught because they didn't take care in this first dangerous step. One cannot underestimate the missing persons search capabilities of the police. A top detective will search every nook and cranny, ask every possible eyewitness, until he finds a lead. Having a witness to the crime is basically forfeiting the match from the very beginning. He absolutely must not have a single person witness what has occurred here. No pedestrians passed by. There was also no residences around here, so there was no chance that somebody may have seen it through a nearby window. Maou quickly checked in every direction to make sure everything was clear.
Go.
With absolute confidence, he gave an order in English. The car quietly moved forward.
ねえ、どこ行くの？僕んちはあっちだよ。
The boy got up in his seat. He put one hand on Mao's knees while pointing out the window. The boy's slender neck was right in front of Mao's eyes. Maou took out a piece of white cloth from his pants pocket. He slowly unfolded it until the cloth covered his entire right hand. There was no drug like either chloroform on that piece, like ether or chloroform on that piece of cloth.
Hiroaki-kun.
For the first time, he called the boy by name.
どうしてお馬さんが僕の名前を知って？
Maou reached out his hand. The boy could not finish his question. Maou aimed for his neck. Specifically, the left and right carotid arteries. With the speed of a spider, his thumb and middle finger pinched down. He didn't want to cause any unnecessary pain. It was only a few seconds until the boy lost consciousness. Maou had been prepared for incontinence, but the child only foamed a bit at the mouth a bit. After wiping everything clean, the only thing remaining was a 5-year-old boy sleeping peacefully. The purpose of the cloth was to prevent any of the boy's DNA from getting underneath his fingernails. Very thorough, aren't you? Of course, to be extra certain, he'll take a shower tonight and burn the clothes he wore today. He didn't want to leave even with a single strand of hair. This is an absolute precaution against any potential police investigation later on. Unlikely as it is for one to occur in the first place. His was a pathological caution. But without such caution, he'd never complete the perfect crime.
いい子だ。
He spoke to himself. Night fell. The streetlights shone into the car, helplessly streaming into the boy's innocent face. $10 at night. For now, the boy's resting in a condemned building in a suburb for safekeeping. It was a decrepit hospital. The locals won't go near the place. Even the homeless won't touch the building this time of the year. This knowledge is the result of thorough investigation. No matter how much the boy screams and cries, no one will come. It's a splendid building for kidnappers. Of course, to prevent him from escaping, all the locks must be secured. The door to the boy's room is made so that it cannot be opened from the inside. Inside the room are 3 blankets and plenty of food and water. There's also a heater set to a comfortable temperature. Though he'll need better care before too long, he can be left alone for now without fear of him dying. Maou entered the next phase of his plan and headed toward the Southern District's residential area. He strolled alone through the streets of the quiet, affluent area. The goal of a kidnapper is to receive a ransom. Maou knew the basics of his plan. He was now inspecting the locale, making sure there were no holes in his strategy. On the whole, there seemed to be no problems. Feeling satisfied, he started for the nearest subway station. Staying there too long may cause people to find him suspicious. The Southern District is a well-to-do area, so there are bound to be many policemen patrolling the streets. Suddenly, a voice came from the sky.
浅井くん?
He instinctively looked up. It came from the top floor of a huge 3-story mansion. Leaning on the rail of her balcony, a young woman stood alone. He looked at the gate's nameplate. Shiratori. This house belonged to the owner of a local development company and the director of Gyogasaki.
こんな時間に何をしているの?
Although he couldn't see the girl's expression clearly, her tone showed transparent hostility and disdain. Maou was forced to quickly make a decision. Should he answer her? Or simply ignore her and walk away? What I want to know is, why is she mistaking you for Kyosuke? Do you two just happen to be identical strangers or something? After a moment's hesitation, Maou lowered his head and spoke.
誰かと間違えていないか?
He only spoke those words and walked away.
ちょっと待ちなさい.
Her voice echoed in the empty streets. It would be problematic if people began to congregate. He quickly left the vicinity of the Shiratori household. Hazai. With that name in his ears, Mao's heart sank into a deep darkness. I take it you have some kind of troubling history with Azai? His head throbbed in agony. After getting off the subway and arriving at the business district, he still hadn't found his calm. It felt as though a blizzard had frozen the darkness within his heart.
浅井ではない。
Unforgivable. Azai Gonzo. He pushed Mother over the edge. He sought out a family deep in debt and made their life a living hell. Many times Maou has told himself, I am Someja Jima Toshikatsu's son. Are you a half-brother to Kyosuke? Or something? He felt the pressing desire to kill a certain someone who bore the name Azai. The pedestrians who approached Maou quickly moved out of his way, unable to meet his gaze. He remembers his father. He remembers the father whose name, Samejima Toshikatsu, would raise the eyebrows of anyone who heard it. Maou once swore before his father to wash away the humiliation forced on him. Maou is willing to drench his hands in blood to fulfill this oath. He will not allow anyone to stop him. Not the police, not the Yakuza, not that one hero. None of them will stand in his way.
見つかるものか?
He's no longer that weak child. Now he has true power. Now he has money. The proof? No one had noticed. Still, no one knows. That I am Maou. I gaze upon the night sky. The time for battle has come. I reached out for the sky. Higher and higher. Higher and higher. As if wishing to clutch and shatter the moon. The pain in my skull still hasn't subsided. It's as if I have another being inside me. A being that's trying to interfere with my movements. Nevertheless, I have ways to ease this headache. I plan my revenge. Battle, capture, win. Wait a minute. Your hair looks like Kyosuke's. Are you a split personality or something? If so, that would certainly explain a few things. Like why some characters mistake you for Kyosuke. Battle. Capture. Win. These thoughts quickly brighten my mood. And now that I think about it... didn't Tsubaki or somebody also mention that Kyosuke sounded different at a couple points when when certain subjects were brought up? These thoughts quickly brighten my mood. At the moment, my primary objective is to see this kidnapping through to a successful conclusion. This is a perfect plan. It's so flawless that you can call the fail-safe measurements redundant. The only thing left to do is to boldly execute the plan without hesitation. I immediately dialed a number on the phone. It's already midnight. It wouldn't be strange for a normal family to be asleep at this time. After 3 rings, someone quietly picked up the phone.
Hi, Miwa desu.
I can tell from her voice that she wasn't in her normal state of mind.
Moshi, どちら様ですか?
Obviously, the reason for Tsubaki's nervousness stemmed from the fact that her brother still hasn't come home yet. She might be crying. I just dragged an innocent family into the depths of hell. Is that not truly the role of the devil? As Tsubaki was on the verge of a nervous breakdown, I chose the right tone before I slowly began. The boy is in my hands. If you don't want him to die, follow my instructions. Although it's rather cliché, do not contact the police. Well, I wish I could say I was surprised by this turn of events, but I mean, it was kind of set up pretty well in advance, so I'd be surprised if a kidnapping didn't occur. But what I am surprised about is, well, again, he looks an awful lot like Kyosuke, so unless he's a completely different person and not like some kind of split personality or something, then I guess Kyosuke has a sibling or a half-sibling or something, because apparently this Maou and Kyosuke has the same father. And clearly, Maou here wants revenge for the humiliation that was inflicted upon him and his father by Azai. So, yeah. But yeah, to me the biggest mystery I want to solve now is who exactly is Maou, and what is his relationship to Kyosuke exactly? A sibling? A split personality? I mean, admitting to having the same father as Kyosuke and looking incredibly similar to him, that can't be a coincidence. I think what I'll do is I'll probably just compare the image of Kyosuke in therapy and this image I just saw of Maou right next to each other after I'm done with this episode. See them side by side and see if I can pick out any differences or similarities that their facial structures have. But at a glance, they look remarkably similar. Anyway, I'm just repeating myself. So, I think I'm going to go ahead and end things here. I think things here have ended on a pretty good note. And we can deal with the kidnapping and the the undoubtedly large amount of stress it's going to end up causing Tsubaki and by extension everybody else in the next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this latest episode of The Devil on G-String. If you did and you want to see more content from me, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I will see you all next time. Take care.